Okay, so calling to order the March 14th meeting of the HVAC IAQ Building Committee meeting. We'll stand for the pledge. Pledge of allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, liberty, and justice for all. Oh, I hear myself echoing. Wonderful. Okay. Minutes. We actually got the minutes, did we?
No, I did not see him from
Yeah, he sent an email.
George?
He had a family issue, so he did not get those out. So we'll defer that to next time. Okay, Tim, you want to give us a quick update on Osborne Hill?
Yeah, sure. So I guess all three schools, Osborne Hill, we're moving right along with finishing up ductwork, installation. We're actually going to start getting into the electrical room potentially this evening into next week. Start getting that fit out for our switchgear, which is still tracking to be shipped. All three gears are tracking to be shipped 319 and 324. They have about a few days to a week in transit. So at Osborne, we're shifting gears right now, as I said, to work on that electrical room over the next couple of weeks and get that ready. North Stratfield, we are still installing ductwork, but we're also going to start working on that electrical room as well into next week, getting it prepped, getting it ready for the gear, pad, and door, and all the accessories we need to get in there. And Fairfield Woods, we are wrapping up ductwork in the lower level. We started the IT cabling relocation that we discussed with you guys about a week and a half ago. So we were able to remove the hard conduit. The Ferguson's dispatched the IT contractor to start coming out to run lines.
So Tim, just a quick
yes.
Deeper detail on that. So last time we spoke, so you're validating that the metal was able to get pulled. We weren't positive last time we all spoke. So that
the metal was, Donna reconfirmed that the metal is able to get pulled, and we have already removed the entire metal line out of the building. Okay. So and
then the white conduit with the fiber, there was some hope that we were going to be able to move that aside. It sounds like we're saying that was not the case. We have to rerun. Is that a true statement?
No. That it is true that we can reroute it. We're waiting on that contractor to submit a price to Donna so he can get out here to do that. But in the meantime, he's not holding us up at the moment because we have the other cabling work to do. So yes, there's no rerunning of that. It's going to be re-tied up and hung properly and out of the way of our openings.
Wonderful. So that terrible corner, I don't know what else to call it. Sounds a little elementary schoolish, but the terrible corner, the ductwork's is in, or it's targeted after this rerun is done still, but we're looking.
Yes. So that, and just quickly, that ATP that we had submitted, we solidified a hard cost with Ferguson, and that extra 20,000 that I was carrying in there, we're going to have some sort of hit to that with this fiber contractor with, his time to relocate and rehang the line, but that 20,000 should be substantially less. We ended up removing the hard pipe with our own team, our own Next 150 labor on site, so that won't be a cost to the committee. Well, we did that with our team.
Right.
So that I'll adjust that as soon as I can. I just need to wait on that fiber number, and I'll revise that ATP for you guys.
All right, sorry, I interrupted you. Go on.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. That's pretty much it. Fairfield Woods, like I said, we're finishing up lower level duct work. We have miscellaneous work we're now doing. We're doing lights throughout Fairfield Woods. So we're hanging all the new lights in the corridors and classrooms. And we're also going to be doing the same work in the electrical room as well in the coming week or so, getting the pad poured. And that's actually it there, because we already have the door and a few other things in already at Woods. So we're a little ahead there. So on schedule, prepping for the gear. Gear is marching to the date we've been telling you guys for the past 6 months, which is great. I'm going to get another hard update, hopefully either today or Monday, just reconfirming all those 319, 324 dates, and we'll be ready to go.
How comfortable are we with those electric closets that everything's good, right? We're pouring new slabs. Is there anything that's going to pop up that's already been inspected and engineered and it's all good to go?
Yeah, not that we see. They're typical house pads, just doweled, epoxy doweled in, or dowels, and then just pour the pad around. So there should not be any type of issue with what we're putting in. There's a couple things we're moving out of the way. There's an old fin tube at Osborne that has to be cut and removed, which should be happening tonight. if not Monday night. But other than that, there's nothing that we see at this time.
Okay. Anything else, Tim?
No, that'll be all.
Mark, anything you want to
Go
add
ahead.
on phase one?
Yep. Met with Van Zelm. Have this trouble between Van Zelm and BVH, and we have them both on this. Regarding the tester and balancer for the HVAC at the 3 schools, the tester and balancer Fairfield likes to have them under the commission agent, so they've gone out and solicited 3 bids. They have compiled their numbers and leveled them off. We went over that on Tuesday, I believe, or this week we'll call it, and they should be submitting their recommendation to the town prior to the next meeting, so we can get them on board and then get them ready to crank up for the end of the summer. The other thing with the end of the summer is I got to meet with the Gilbane team to figure out what moves we need to make this summer to get the stuff out of their way. And that is all I have.
So you're talking about, when you say get things moved out of their way, you're talking about for a defined phase 2 work of what
Correct.
classrooms have to be cleared, and is that coordination with the janitors and whatnot, custodial staff?
Correct.
Okay, Rodney or Joe, either of you guys have any questions or follow-up with those updates?
For the building commissioning, for Fairfield Woods, looks like we're running a deficit.
Yes. We're running a deficit on all 3 schools.
Why?
The number that we budgeted was based on what we typically do for schools, and it was not adjusted for, I did not adjust it for heavy HVAC as these were. Typically it's $1 square foot, and with the based on the cost of the work, and that typically the MEP is a smaller percentage of the work on the overall school projects.
So these numbers aren't, so we could even be more in debt or in a deficit, not in debt.
On the line
final
item?
numbers, when the final numbers come in.
No, we know they showed us their numbers, and I added a percentage to that. So.
Okay.
I'm hoping that the numbers come in less than what I have allocated on the plan, but not contracted. So it should be less of a deficit.
Is the contingency is adequate to cover the overage?
Yes. On the bottom line of all the financial status reports, everything's factored in. So the bottom line is the current bottom line.
Tim, what percentages are we done at each school, or how, better yet, what's the percentage remaining at each school? Approximately.
I'd say around like 40%. I mean, we have this whole summer to go. Maybe 40%.
Okay, for all schools?
Yeah, we're about the same spot with all schools. I mean, pretty much
Rodney, as of today, we're at 55% complete. On
55,
requisition.
okay.
And
Right, 50.
requisition too. Composite between all 3 schools, about 55%. Okay.
Yep.
A little more than halfway through. That's as of last month, obviously, requisition, so you gotta add March to it too. So we're a little bit more than 55, plus or minus.
Well, and I'll take this, I'll take the 60.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a fair, 60 is fair. You know, I think you're about there. Yeah.
Thanks, Tim.
Yep.
Just kidding.
Okay. All right. Moving on to phase 2 in Tomlinson updates.
90% CDs are due today. So once I get them, I will ship them out to the committee and to Fairfield Public Schools. Jesse, I'm assuming you're sending them directly to Amar and his team. You're on mute.
Of course I am. Every morning I'm on mute. Yes, I'll send them to Gilbane and Sal and you.
Okay.
Okay. Let's do the anything else, Mark, on Tomlinson?
Well, that puts us on track for CD estimates due on April 4th, and then the estimate reconciliation is scheduled for the 9th, Wednesday the 9th of April.
That's that half-day session.
Yes.
Rodney, were you able to talk to the chair of the special building committee with coordination for the roof of Tomlinson?
No, but I think he's away. He usually goes south somewhere to the islands, so I'll try again.
Yeah, he ghosted
If I
me.
could just jump in, Jeff, it's Sal.
Yes, sir.
Rich Special is aware that there's a component from the HVAC project the following year that needs to be coordinated in. Is that like the ultimate question?
Yes, that was what I wanted to make sure his awareness and make sure that going forward we have that coordination. I'm
yeah,
loath
Rich.
to cut a hole in his beautiful new roof to run ductwork if we don't have to.
I'm actually hoping that we have what we need from these construction drawings now. Actually, it's the Tomlinson final state review got delayed, so we have time on that. That's going back to Ken Lindsley's passing. Our schedule for review with the state got, we'll say, modified. So it kind of that kind of worked in favor for this coordination actually on the bid set.
Okay.
So you're planning on replacing the roof this coming summer, right? 25, is that the goal?
Hopefully, yeah.
Okay.
That's the plan.
Thank you.
That's the plan.
Okay. So Sal, you're punched in with that, so we can get updates from you. We have you and Rodney as conduits with Richard and team. That's beautiful. Okay.
Oh yeah. That's fine. Thank you.
So delays and everything, any other delays or risks would be, you guys can call out as far as shifting of that and just make sure that, again, that construction is coordinated through.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Your project actually only lands on one of the multiple roof sections
Right.
that is making up the roof replacement. And you know what? We'll work to, unless there's a logistics problem, we'll say, please make sure this one absolutely positively gets done this summer. But the overall scope of the roof replacement project is not so large that it can't be done in one summer. It's not.
Right.
It's not like we're doing 250,000 square feet. It's well under. I think we're doing less than 50. Tell you the truth. So it's not like a gigantic roof project.
Okay. Very good. All right. Rodney, Joe, any questions on Tomlinson phase 2?
Nope.
All right. I'm gonna shift the order slightly. Let's do invoices next on the approvals.
Uh-oh.
Streamlining as much as we can here. Rodney, I did do the math last night on the plane, so if you don't have the numbers, I do.
You know what? Go for it. I'll check in.
Very good. All right. So I'll make a motion to approve invoice number 11 and 7 from Gilbane. This is addressing Osborne Hill, North Stratfield Roof and Woods, dated 2/28/2025, in the amount of $1,143,175.13. That I do.
I think it's 148.
148, 175?
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, so in the amount of $1,148,175.13.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
You must have hit some turbulence, Jeff.
It's 3s, 8s. I wasn't drinking, but yes, it could have been turbulence.
I didn't say that.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve. Take a deep breath. Invoice number 2300053.0000-22 from BL Companies representing Osborne Vestibule, North Stratfield Vestibule, Woods Vestibule, and Tomlinson, dated 2/28, in the amount of $28,886.80.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
No, sir.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good. And lastly, I'll make a motion to approve Collier's Project Leaders invoice number 1031425, dated 3/6/2025, and the amount of $13,814.80.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Not from me.
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Right. Good. Moving on. ATPs. Fun begin. What do you got? All right, Mark. ATP number 007 for Fairfield Woods. That's a
This is an allowance draw for repairs to existing flooring. In the amount
Zed's-
of,
sorry. Go ahead, Rodney. I talked over you.
That's all right. All
In the
right.
amount
So
of
that
$10,000.
zeros out the allowance, right?
correct.
Ugh.
And what does the repair of existing floors look like? This is replacement of tiles.
Jim, you want to take this?
Yeah, so it's a $0. It's we're not zeroing it out yet, Rodney. It's just authorizing it. So we had a few additional costs for some additional LVT tile up charges for that the school was selecting. So what we were going to do is, instead of adding it as a cost to the project, we thought we'd just utilize this allowance. Because at this point through the project, there's no flooring that's existing to be repaired. So if we're going to it's a small upcharge per school, about $3,000 in change per school to go from VCT to LVT, which is going to be a better final product for the school. So we wanted to utilize this allowance at each 3 schools to absorb that upcharge, give the school a better product, and we'll still have a balance in case there's any type of flooring issue that we have. But again, being on the project as far as we haven't seen any type of existing floor that needs to be repaired, anything to that nature at this point.
And Sal, we're comfortable with the new flooring is the better choice for maintenance perspective for waxing, not waxing, and whatnot. Changing of crews.
Yes. Yes.
No one's gonna wax the non-waxing floors.
Yeah. Yeah. And this, it all pulled up from literally the discussion of North Stratfield, because the floor there is the LVT that we installed a couple of years ago. And then we got into the whole discussion about replacement versus matching and all that. And the upcharge was, comparably small for the other two sites. It's the product that we would want to use moving forward for, we'll say, main office spaces.
Okay. Anybody like to make a motion on ATP 07?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept ATP 007 repairs to the existing flooring. The source is an allowance. It's an estimate for the amount of $10,000.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
While we're here, do you want to do the other two schools?
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
ATP 31 for North Stratfield and ATP 18 for Osborne Hill.
All right, you want to, we can combine those, I guess, right? So,
Yep.
I'll make a motion to accept ATP 031 repairs to existing flooring for North Stratfield, and ATP 018 repairs to existing flooring for Osborne, both in the amount of $10,000 each.
I'll
Second
second that motion.
All right, Joe, it's all yours. Any other discussion?
No.
Good. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
And then the next one is ATP 24 for Fairfield Woods. This is also an allowance draw. And this happens at all three schools for patching and painting and patching work of the existing. This is for various painting of areas around. This is called out on the documents to be areas to be painted. It was not a separate painting subcontractor, so it was put under the general trades as an allowance. So it's always anticipated painting would happen. It was just the area that needed to be painted.
And you're stating that in the ATP backup material has the areas to be painted.
No, this is just to open the allowance to get. We'll have to submit future ATPs, Jeff, with like what we're painting and the actual hard cost. This is just to open the allowance to authorize it.
Okay, misunderstood, Mark. Okay, I'm going to make a motion to approve ATP 024 for Fairfield Woods, 016 for Fort North Stratfield, and 010 for Osborne Hill for painting and patchwork, each an estimated allowance of $25,000 in each school, so a total of $75,000.
I'll second that motion.
Further discussion?
No.
Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
It passes unanimously. Okay. I'm going to jump down to I'm skipping the third one in Fairfield Woods at the moment. We're going to go to make a motion to approve 029 North Stratfield, Bolton 02 main office heating revisions. This is also estimated estimated ATP coming out of contingency in the amount of $84,503. Mark, you want to explain this? Or can I have a second first?
Jesse.
I'm sorry, I get a second on the motion?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you, Joe. All right, sorry, Mark, go ahead.
Jesse, do you want to explain this one?
Sorry, which one are we on now, Mark?
029 of
Posting
North
to the
Stratfield.
the main office heating revisions.
This was just added scope that wasn't part of the original contract. That is for the heating systems in the front office are basically failing at this point. So it's a design to replace them with functioning heating. Our scope of work was just air conditioning. It wasn't heating systems. So this was just something that came up since the project started, and we,
So the 84,503 is design fee?
No, we didn't charge anything for the design fee.
Oh, okay, I
No,
misunderstood.
that price includes the contracting work, Rodney. That's Ferguson
Okay.
Electric. There's some demo in there and some patching and re of existing areas. So it's a scope of work.
And how are we heating that space in the future?
Cabinet unit. Yeah, cabinet unit heaters under the windows.
And that 80,000, etc., covers all that, the equipment and install?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, convectors, not cabinet unit heaters. It's essentially the
Okay.
same thing, though. There's one cabinet unit heater in the main office and convectors in the small offices.
I saw these drawings.
Yeah, and currently there's about a 6 to 7 week lead time on those heaters. So as soon as we get the green light, we're going to release Ferguson to procure them, get shop drawings in and procure them. So it is something we want to focus on to get moving.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's it is an estimate, but 84,503 seems like a pretty accurate number. So this trades have submitted their initial quotes, I assume.
Yes, we've gone through them with them. So it's pretty spot on.
Okay. Any other discussion? Rodney, Joe?
No.
Not for me, no.
Okay. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Cool. Make a motion to approve 030 ATP 030. This is Bulletin 03 exposed ductwork at North Stratfield. This is coming out of contingency, an estimate of $89,446. Can I get a second?
I'll second that motion.
Who's explaining this one?
Jesse? Bulletin 3, the insulated duct in the gym and the APR for MTR.
Yeah, I was hoping to discuss this more with Sal before we presented it to the building committee, but this was normally we would specify double wall ductwork when you have exposed ductwork, and it got missed on the drawings. I was gonna just talk with Sal about making sure he wanted all of this included.
Do we want to pull it back? We can table it.
Yeah, there's not a huge schedule urgency on this. It needs to be vetted more by all means. Yes, please table it.
Yeah, it's about a 6 to 7 week full turnaround. Just that's our exposure right now. So it's a week for shop drawings to be revised. It's about a 6 to 7 week lead on all the material. So that's what we're looking at as exposure. I mean, if we have to pull it back, we definitely can, but just wanted to let everybody know.
It sounds like we're just talking about pulling it back for a week or two so you guys can get your ducks in a row, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
My
Next
guess is
meeting.
we will present it, and it'll just be at the next meeting. But,
Yes, as long as we have direction by the next meeting, we should be okay, Jeff.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll make it amendment to the motion to table the item until the next scheduled meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, it's on hold. And that is it, except, so circling back to Woods. Vestibule door hardware.
Yep.
We had talked about this and there was a request for the RFIs to be issued. Rodney, did you get a chance to review those to your satisfaction?
Well, not to my satisfaction, but I did review them. Jeff, I think we also asked for, it was mentioned in the previous meeting that this was a line item in the estimate and the GMP.
It was,
Yes, I did.
it was a
look
line
into it.
item in the estimate, not in the, it was not included in the GMP.
Maybe I can comment there, Rodney, if you like.
Pardon me?
Please, Mark.
I can comment if you like. So when we estimated the vestibule estimating, we only did one estimate because that had to go out to bidding. It was a schematic design estimate. It really was not a full CD estimate because of timing. Had to go out to the state for approval. They needed an estimate, and then it was when the town went out and procured it through state contract. So we carried it at the time. Was the hardware was kind of lumped in with the door assembly itself, so it was not a separate line item for it. But that's in the estimate, obviously. Was not in the GMP. The GMP clearly, the RFI, as you saw earlier, did not carry that. However, in light of the circumstance of this issue, I'm happy to take ATP 35, which is, I think, the highest one, I believe. I'll take it out of my contingency if that makes the process move forward easier, I guess. Just because we need to procure this hardware, obviously. We received the revised shop drawings. We coordinated with BL. There was some design revisions as well within that hardware submittal too. So we're kind of wrapped up the submittal, all been marked up by the design team and made some changes in coordination with Sal. So we're ready to pull the trigger on this. So like I said, happy to take the ATP 35, I guess, out of my contingency. If that's okay with the building committee.
Still a $60,000 hit.
I understand that it's not in the GMP, and that's how the contract is structured. Unfortunately, it's so. What's your proposal? I guess.
I don't know. Anybody else have a comment?
Want me to split it? I'll total them up and split them 50-50. That's fine too.
Jeff?
We're talking about the additional 34,000 and the additional 28,000 the other schools. So it's
Yep.
coming out of our, coming out of that, about 100 and.
Yeah, those numbers will be a little lower too, Jeff. Since these ATPs were submitted, we went back to the hardware sub and worked on numbers just to make sure everything was apples to apples. So really, North Stratfield's 27 and change with our markups on it, and then Osborne is 22 and change. I mean, sorry, North Stratfield's 27 and change just from the contractor, not including any markups, and Osborne is 22 and change, not including markups. So those prices are a bit less than what we're showing here, but that was because we submitted these a little while ago.
Obviously, these numbers, because the way they're presented, they have markup on them. So if they're going to come out of my contingency, they obviously will not bear any markup.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll be out, like Tim indicated earlier, they're slightly less.
Yeah. So
Would you
really,
take
if we, I'm just doing some quick math. Hang on, 27. I'm just gonna go 27.5. I don't have it in front of me at the moment. 22.5. Again, so it's like 77,500 if we have hard costs from the trades, without Gilbane markup. So if we were just take 50 of that, your exposure would be about 38 and change, roughly, if we revise all these ATPs.
And there's still markup on what's left if you took half.
It would be 38 plus markup, which is,
Yeah.
we can run the number. So you're talking around a little over 40 in totality.
All right, well, I think the ATPs, I'm gonna make a motion to approve ATP 035 vestibule door hardware 028 for North Stratfield and 017 for vestibule door hardware in the amounts of $40,803. I lost my 34,429 and $28,015 respectfully on each of the three ATPs, with the understanding that we're having a 50% of that is going to be coming out of builder's contingency, and the
Yep.
other 50% is coming out of project contingency.
I can second that motion.
Any other discussion? I'm not sure, Rodney, if there's another way to address the miss.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Are there any other responsible parties that missed it that might want to share in Gilbane's pain and taking this out? And by that I mean let Gilbane take their 50 and then let BL or Colliers take some more out of there for us.
The hardware was shown on the drawings. It was when we went to the state contractor for their bids, it was asked if the hardware was included. The RFI, pre-bid RFI went back that it was bought out with the general trades. So the state contractor did not carry the hardware on it.
Understood.
Well, it's based on an RFI issued by, I would imagine, state contractor, and BL's response to that he didn't carry it.
It's not a complete BO response. Gilbane edited the response.
Well, which response?
Yeah,
On
exactly.
the state, off Cherry Hill
I'm looking at
that's my response.
RFI. The only one I have is RFI 90.
Number 5.
That was part of the HVAC job project.
Yes, the question was asked by a bidder. The response obviously came from BL. We amended the response by saying bid package 09A, I think it was the general trades package, that's not by them. There was actually 2 RFIs related to this topic, but the net result basically, we told 09A that's going to be coming out of that package, meaning the vestibule package. So, however, when the vestibule package went out to bid, it did not include the hardware. So effectively, the hardware was not bought.
Any other thoughts, Rodney?
No, I'm good.
Okay, I'm gonna call a vote for the passing of the motion on the floor just for the vestibule hardware for the 3 schools. All in favor?
Aye.
Begrudgingly, aye.
Yeah.
Okay. Those motions pass. Now, as a lovely, we'll see what else we had. Go ahead.
Jeff, just one thing. In our next round, I want to see that, see the numbers so we can re-vote on it if you want, if you will.
From an actual
Yeah.
perspective.
Yeah,
And-
maybe
and
we.
the breakout from the contingencies and whatnot.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe we can continue to level and try to work on the pricing of what's left over too. I'm sure Gilbane's gonna try and get the numbers down a little bit.
Yep.
Uh,
In the meantime, we'll release the hardware, at least get that moving. We'll revise the ATP based on the final figures and we'll present those at the next meeting for you.
Please.
No problem.
Excuse me, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Has this hardware been ordered yet in timing with the glass to arrive at the same time?
Yeah, okay, Jason, we've been working with BL on the submittals. The submittals have been released to the hardware vendor, so we should be in decent shape. We don't anticipate any issues. I think the hardware itself has 6 to 8 weeks, which puts it right around the middle of May or so timeline. So we should be okay, Tim, unless I'm missing something here.
No, you're right. Right now, Jason, based on the trajectory of the actual system itself and the hardware, we should fall in line. And also, if there's any need for templating for, fabrication purposes, Cherry Hill has confirmed they can use paper templates. They don't need physical hardware. So I think we are covered on a couple different ways during the fabrication process and timing.
Right.
And the
update
hardware
you
is
at the
field
next meeting.
installed.
Yeah, and the hardware will be field installed, correct. So there's nothing that they're doing in the factory per se.
We'll make sure that the next meeting will give you guys a full update at that point in time for both
Mhm.
the bullet resistant frames and glass as well as the hardware status. We can give you all that at the next meeting. That's not a problem.
And that scheduling is in line with what we talked about the last meeting, that we would be okay deferring the vote for
Yes.
this week. So
Pardon my ignorance, but why is the hardware coming from a different vendor than the glass vendor? In the past, doesn't the hardware come from the same vendor?
It does,
Ding,
but
ding, ding.
also, yeah, I don't know if you want me to address that. Happy to do so. It does, Jason. It can be bought from either. The challenge is that we have one spec for hardware for the entire project. And that captured both systems, our system or what we own for hardware as part of the HVAC project, and the hardware that was specified in the vestibule design. It was all lived in one spec section. Hence, this a little bit of a hiccup with those ATPs is when it's all in one spec, it gets missed sometimes because you either buy all the hardware from one guy, or you have to be very careful as to what you're going to split, and you have to dissect the hardware spec. So we're good right now. We should be all set. It's all living with us now, the entire spec section. And the only thing that the state contract is providing is the frame and the glass. So it's it happens, but it's we're good right now. We're all set.
And Jason, part of that is because we have multiple projects, packages, and I'm not just saying we have a hardware package, we have a glass package, we have project AC project, we have the vestibule project, we have the roof project, and that's driven by state grant. So it was a unfortunate. As Mar said, only one spec section had the hardware, and that's partially attributed to our state funding and the hoops we'd go through for their packages.
Okay. In the interest of time, I'm going to move on. Val or others, moving on to old business now. I completed the ATPs, I believe. Yes, it did. So on old business, Fitz House control issues. Any updates on that? You guys still moving along? Or any?
Yes, we just literally just morning we just got something back from Train. More analytics, and they're going to be jumping in with the actually the prime contractor Save More and be making some adjustments. We've reduced the number of trips of due to the freeze stat by one change, and we're slowly eating, whittling down on this issue. So some more adjustments in the controls. The package controls are in the offing shortly.
Okay, so Sal, at this point, you're optimistic they're going to be able to correct these issues with these incremental software changes or whatnot in the controls and not need a wholesale.
Oh yeah, no, I mean it's one of those things. It's we're beta testing, I guess, a new program on a new controller, and we're going through the pain of settling that in. So
Great.
welcome to construction. But yeah,
Sure,
no,
I'm sure the pricing reflects the beta testing.
oh yeah, exactly.
Okay. Additional old business, ceiling tiles. So I think the short version of catch up here. There's discussion of there's a couple big nuggets as far as how we're addressing the phase one ceiling tiles. One item was that BL was going to get the scheduling and do an incremental walkthrough for a punch list, not waiting to the end of the project that we may normally have done it, and that is to identify the proportionality of tiles that are going to need to be addressed as punch list items. So my question there is, Jesse, you were going to get a date with your team of when that walkthrough could occur.
Yeah, it looks like we're thinking it's going to take 2 days to do everything, and it would probably be about 2 weeks from now. I'll schedule the exact dates with Sal.
So prior to the 28th meeting or right around there?
Right around there. Yeah, looking at availability, we had the 26th, 7th, and 8th as days to possibly do this. But I think some of that will depend on what hours we can be at the school and things like that. I know a lot of it's corridors, so we should be able to do that even when kids are there.
Okay. And Jesse, am I correct that part of that punch list is going to be identifying and separating out the count of sagging or those tiles that appear to be defective in manufacturing or installation, but not damaged per se?
Yeah.
Or do we need it? So Rodney and Joe, for your sort of background here, the thought is, or my thought is, if we're talking about a total proportion of the phase one tiles, if we were to say we want to replace all those tiles, just to go down that path for a moment. I'm not saying that's the path, but if that were the path, what portion of those tiles would be addressed from a punch list as a normal course of action? And what is our exposure with Armstrong as far as, not our exposure, but what is our ask from Armstrong to say, this set of tiles is clearly damaged from a manufacturing perspective, and that can be addressed potentially in a different way, versus just replacing all tiles in all three schools with our high water mark of about $330,000.
Right.
Didn't Armstrong already review these?
Yes. But they didn't give us a real clarity as to why they're turning down addressing the issue. They just sent us a fairly mediocre email and we're requesting a letter as to citing specifics as to why they are not honoring or standing by their product quality based on the conditions. So that's the next ask.
Okay.
And that was my next item on my old business.
Sorry.
That's
Sorry.
fantastic. No, and Rodney's leading question. So, my follow on to that is only who owns that? Who's the person? I need a name that's running that point on that. Who's working with Armstrong to get that letter and drive that forward? I'm not sure who's
I think when we
who's
talked, if I'm not mistaken, when we talked, correct me if I'm wrong, Jesse, I thought it was because you guys specify the product and we can definitely assist, but I think you might have a better leverage on that one than I can. Happy to help.
Yeah, we're gonna do that, but yeah, like Amar said, if we can do it from both BL and Gilbane, that may be even better than just us.
Oh, absolutely. I'm happy to roll up,
Yeah, Jesse, I would ask that you pull all any hammers or tools that you need. If that means the town, if you need Sal or I or Amar, whomever, I just want to make sure someone's point in this.
No, and absolutely. We've talked earlier this week on this, and we don't think Armstrong's response is thorough or detailed enough to really explain anything at all.
Okay, Joe or Rodney, do you guys have any questions on this?
No.
No, I want to see what Armstrong says.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's why I want these counts to understand where this all falls from a what are we talking about? Okay, Amar,
just quick.
sorry, what's that?
Does the building committee would like to see the latest communication that we received from Armstrong? I don't know if it was shared with the group or not. I don't know. I don't recall. I know it was shared with Colliers and Sal has seen it and Jesse obviously.
There's no harm in sending it over for reference. It sounds like it was a not overly meaningful letter, but I guess we can Mark, you're gonna send it to us for background. That'd be great.
Yeah, Mark, you have it. Okay.
Yeah, I'll send it over. It was a third-hand email.
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, thanks.
And then, Amar, I don't know if you have at your fingertips, we did talk about cost of 2x2 versus 2x4 in the second phase, just to have an appreciation for what that would run. And we also talked about if we wanted to, if it was cost effective at all to look at the edging, replacing the edging for quality control.
Do you want me to present that? Do you have time or it's up to you? How do you want
Why don't we defer to next time? But if you could just have that, you could maybe pull that together for us. That would be a good, just to understand if you want to send an email with the numbers, just to get an appreciation for that. I think in light of all these other exposure points, it's going to be difficult. Even if we wanted to, it's going to be a difficult path to go forward on, but it'd be interesting to understand the numbers.
No problem. I'll do that. In the meantime, Jesse, whatever you can do to expedite the punch list so I can kind of put a number to it would be greatly appreciated if we can try to get it before the next meeting much sooner, because I still have to price it. So anything you can do to push on the punch list would be greatly appreciated.
Yep. We're understand.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll have that ready for the next meeting, Jeff, to present that, and we can kind of walk you through the numbers. Okay.
Very good. And I don't think I had any other old business. And I have no new business. Joe or Rodney, do either of you have anything that I missed that you wanted to make sure was brought up?
I think you got everything.
Yeah, you're good.
All right. And 9:56. Look at that, Joe.
Perfect.
My corporate training at its best. All right, everyone, appreciate it. Have a lovely week. Enjoy the spring. And we'll talk to everybody in a couple of weeks.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
I should make a motion for adjournment.
Second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Very good. All right. Once again, bye everyone.